Welcome, folks. I am Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hi, guys.
We've got another Capone acting thing going on here. Another portrayal of Capone. The first time that I'm aware of was Robert De Niro in The Untouchables. I don't know of any other iterations of Capone. I'm sure there have been plenty, and documentaries and whatnot. But anyway, I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy. I think he's a wonderful actor, very, very talented feller, and so I'm looking forward to his take on this, his spin on this. I'm sure he committed hard as a mother effer to bring this character to life. This says, the 47-year-old Al Capone, after 10 years in prison, starts to... I cannot believe I'm reading this sentence this way. Damn. Okay. 47-year-old Al Capone, after 10 years in prison, starts suffering from dementia and comes to be haunted by his violent past. Ugh. It's very eerie that I funked up that sentence. Okay, anyway, here we go. Let's check this out.
How about if our good friend Al, ladies and gentlemen?
Do you know what the difference is between Adolf Hitler and Al Capone? Hitler's dead. Capone was like a king in Florida.
He has full-blown dementia.
I have reason to believe it could all be an elaborate act.
What's this about?
We have information that your client may have tucked away a very large sum of money.
You can drop the act now.
You got goons walking around.
Guys like you own this place $10 million. What are you ever going to talk?
We go on rampage.
Oh my.
We made a promise. Someday we was gonna make it big.
The only thing that really matters is how a man treats his family.
Damn.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
In The Untouchables, I think they got him on some kind of tax evasion thing, and he had to spend some time in jail, but it wasn't like a real solid punishment. It was like a victory in terms of the movie, just because they got him, but they didn't really get him. Capone is just one of the most notorious villains in, you know, recent history, and so, I mean, not like as bad as Hitler, but it's interesting that they draw the comparison between Capone and Hitler. I'm like, I think Hitler's way worse, but sure.
Yeah, that was a bit weird to me, but it is interesting that they're doing this take on the Al Capone story, where they're kind of focusing on the story about him as an older man and suffering from dementia and all of that, and the money that he's tucked away. Like, it's a really different take on the story that we're used to, you know?
Yeah.
And I like that, because it's like, well, if you're gonna do something about someone that is so notorious in history, it seems more interesting to kind of take an alternate spin on it, even though it says that it's based on true events and stuff, which makes it even more interesting.
I mean, you're always going to have artistic licensing taken with these stories.
Yeah.
But I'm excited just to see Tom Hardy's performance, personally. And the funniest thing is they didn't even show much of his speaking in this film. They deliberately limited it, and I'm wondering why they did that. I wonder if it was just to tease you and make you even more intrigued with him. I'm hoping that's the reason.
Yeah, not the other one.
Yeah. They had some interesting visuals in here as well. I'm wondering how much of that is all going on in his mind.
Yes.
Like the alligator bit. I'm fairly certain was something going on in his head because he's suffering from dementia, so he's kind of losing his mind. I don't know that dementia makes you have hallucinations, but...
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of like internal stuff going on with him. He is hoarding this money, and it's one of those things that everyone in that kind of position does, where they're keeping their stash for whatever reason.
For a rainy day when you're dead and you can't use it anymore.
Yeah, but it's weird because you have this aggressive. They show these people with this aggressive nature to hoard all this cash that they usually never get to spend.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst. I think the thing that made that most apparent to me was Narcos. I think it was Narcos, where he was constantly stashing. He had like to constantly find different places to stash all this because he had so much money. Like billions of dollars. He had to keep finding different places to stash it. And then he ends up dead anyway. It's like he never really got to fully, he spends his whole life scared.
Yeah.
You know?
Just like trying to make sure that the money's okay. And
Yeah.
like, you gotta launder it too, because then
Right.
how are you gonna use it?
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't spend his whole life scared, but he obviously spent a significant amount of his life on the run, avoiding the police, avoiding the authorities and whatnot. One of the great things that they're showing here, and I hope this speaks to the film, is that even with not doing much, Al Capone is still a very scary character, as portrayed by Tom Hardy. Like that moment when he's got the little lighter,
Yeah.
and he's looking at the dude who's basically investigating him. I think this dude is investigating him.
Yeah.
There was nothing being spoken, and I love moments like that where you still feel that sense of fear. I'm sure in the context of the film it'll feel even stronger, but I'm reminded of that scene in The Departed where you had Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon on opposite sides of the phone call, where I think Matt Damon called Leonardo DiCaprio's, it wasn't him, but it was calling a phone that belonged to a dead man. And neither of them were answering the phone for a moment. It's like this simple setup where you're just looking at them on the phone, listening, and it's scary because you don't know what you would do as either person,
Yeah.
right? It was just a good moment, and this reminds me of that. It's like, it's just a good moment where you're like, what do you do
Yeah.
when you're face to face with this person who you're trying to take down, and he's got that look of, I want to, like a tiger's look
Yeah.
in his eyes, ready to kill you, ready to take you down. You know the history of this guy, and you're standing face to face with him. There's a lot in that moment, and I thought that was just well done. I'm hoping that this is a good movie. I'm really, really hoping that they got some, really good talent in here.
Yeah.
So, they got what's his name from Crash and Wild Things. God, I can't remember his name.
Matt Dillon?
Matt Dillon.
Is that who you're thinking?
Yes, Wild Things.
Yeah.
The first movie with that had a very overt menage a trois on it. What else did he do? He did, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You know who Matt Dillon is. He had a movie with a very strange name that I can't remember right now. Matt Dillon's tried to diversify his acting profile. He's tried very hard.
Yeah. As you should.
As you should. And so he looks the same age.
Always, yeah.
It's like he hasn't aged in the last 20 years or something. I'm sure if we go back and watch Crash or whatever, or Wild Things, he will look younger, but he still looks so young for being born in 1964.
Yeah.
That's what, see Wild Things?
Looking good.
As Sam Lombardo.
Oh yeah.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and do let us know your feelings in the comments below. How do you feel about Tom Hardy's take on Al Capone? What do you think of the makeup? That's the thing that I'm very, very curious to hear your feelings on, because that was the first thing that stood out to me. I was like, maybe, but it's something that you might get used to just watching the movie, and you might not even think about it anymore because you're just acclimated to it,
Yeah,
right?
if the acting's good,
But-
you can forgive it.
Yeah, but like just the way he's embodying Al Capone, I mean, he feels very different from Bane. He feels very different from, what else am I thinking of? Inception.
Yes.
Whatever he was in Inception. He feels very different from, what are the other roles he's played? I saw a little bit of Bronson or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
Very different from
Very
that.
different.
And so, yeah, he's done a very good job here of creating this very new individual. And I love that. I love like finding actors that are able to do that and are popular enough that they can like spearhead a movie.
Yeah.
You know, because there's not too many.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they're using him, Tom Hardy being considerably younger than Al Capone probably was in this movie. 'Cause obviously he's suffering from dementia. I'm sure Tom Hardy's probably like, what, just in his 40s?
Yeah,
If
but
that-
Al Capone's 45 looks like 65 because he's just destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So like, I don't know if he's gonna have anything like flashback type stuff where he's looking younger and that's why they wanted to have Tom Hardy, or it's just like Tom Hardy's a really great character actor too. So I think he can pull it off.
I'm fairly certain that if what's-his-name was still alive, he would have played him instead. The guy from The Sopranos.
Oh.
I forgot Giovanni, I forgot his last name. James Gandolfini.
Right.
I knew it was some kind of Italian last name, if he's even Italian.
Sounds Italian.
It sounds Italian, but then you find out, yeah, he's Italian. Sometimes you find out these actors aren't even Italian. Like, for instance, Robert De Niro is not even full-blooded Italian.
Right.
He's like a quarter Italian or something like that. Now that you said that, it is interesting that they didn't choose someone else to play him, because there's a list of other people that have done like the mafia movies that could have easily done it. But I like Tom Hardy a lot. and I think he's fully capable of making this one work well. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too. Thanks so much for hanging out. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video, please. That would mean a lot to Jaby Koay and ACHARA KIRK a little bit. Also follow ACHARA KIRK. She's on the Instagram, and I am as well. If you feel like looking at our fun, goofy, dumb photos, videos, all that good stuff, I am Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.